Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for a Monday. Let's kick the week off, get some Buckeye rushing hours here, October 9th, 2023. Joe from the Buckeye Cast here, shepherding you through another lovely live show. I hope you guys enjoyed last night's TBC Weekly with me, Jeff, and Sean. Today, we are talking some recruiting. Big time recruiting weekend. Here on out, all the rest of the home games are going to be some decent recruiting weekends, except maybe that Minnesota game. That one might be a little dicey. It's in November. Anyways, let's get into it. I'm going to lay some topics on you and hit me in the comments. You're welcome to call in. The phone number is in the description below the video. And it's also scrolling above my head. All right. So let's get into some recruiting here. One thing I did notice today, I just saw a news item. Can be a big deal. I know that people love talking about NIL, and by love I mean hate. I don't turn off the show yet. This is just a quick 2 sentences. Okay. So the NCAA is considering allowing schools to secure NIL deals for athletes. So let me say that again. So the schools would act as all these collectives and foundations. So the collectives and foundations would be cut out of the loop. The players go right to the schools. It would just probably be another department under the athletic department, right? So an NCAA subcommittee will discuss the possibility of bringing NIL activities currently outsourced to collectives to within the walls of the athletic department. I know that a lot of times we ignore NIL, but this is a real thing. It's affecting Ohio State in their recruiting right now as we speak, and has been for over a year. You could say the words Brandon Baker. I would say the words Jordan Seaton, 2 big-time 5-star commits. One's not decided yet, but NIL is probably going to decide where Jordan Seaton goes, and definitely decided where Brandon Baker goes. Went to Texas. Texas guarantees us like a base salary for all their offensive linemen. Hard to turn that down, right? I don't think I could. Would you turn down guaranteed money to go play college football at Texas, Austin, Texas? Yeah, I'm in. So just a little news nugget there. It will be interesting to see how they what they do with the collectives. Do they bring them inside and make them employees of the university, or do they just completely cut them out of the loop? You know, so we'll see. All right, we just got our first commitment today. You guys might not have known it, but not a first commit, first wide receiver commit of 2025. His name is Javen Boggs. He is from Cocoa, Florida, over on the East Coast, near like Daytona area and shit like that. But so first wide receiver in this 2025 class. He's a 3-star right now, but he's going to be shooting up the rankings. When they reset the rankings, he's going to be a 4-star at least. He's 6 foot 188, rated at a .8850 in the composite rankings. He's ranked 368 nationally, 50th wide receiver, 55th ranked player in Florida. So all those numbers are going to skyrocket. He's going to be probably top 300, 250 maybe. And then, of course, he's got another year of high school to even shoot up further up the rankings. He picked Ohio State over offers from Florida, Boston College, Colorado, Louisville, Ole Miss, Penn State, Pittsburgh, UCF, and West Virginia. He's dominated opponents through his junior year so far. 48 catches, 779 yards, and 14 touchdowns in just 6 games. That's a nice little 8 catch per game average, right? I'll take that. In his second week of the season, he went against the 5-star corner, Charles Lester III, Chucky Three Sticks. Remember him? Buckeyes were in on him. He torched the 5-star corner for 210 yards on 10 catches, 3 TDs. Whoa, that's impressive. He projects as a slot receiver at the next level, so look for him to follow in the footsteps of Emeka and those guys. X-Man, Ennis probably. So he's primarily played outside in high school, but he'll move to the slot because he consistently shows soft hands and that awareness you need to find holes in the zone on the defense. And he's not afraid of contact and will fight for yards after the catch. He'll take a big hit if he has to secure the catch. So I love this kid's toughness and his ability. He said this about the Buckeyes. He said, "I love everything about Ohio State. It's wide receiver U, no better place to be at. I have a great relationship with the staff. I love it up there." His head coach at Cocoa High School, one of the better coaches in Florida, if not the best, Ryan Schneider, said that Day and Hartline will love this kid when he gets on campus. His work ethic is unbelievable. He's a truly smart kid who understands football. He's a leader. He's going to lead by example, not a talker. He'll do a great job at Ohio State. He'll fit in perfectly to their culture. They do a great job of putting guys into the next level and coaching up receivers the last 5 years better than anybody in the country. So high praise about the kid. And he obviously knows a bit about Buckeye football and the culture and the history. So excellent pickup. I love it when we get in early on a guy. We'll get our share of 5 stars. That's to be sure, and 4 stars, of course. But this guy could end up being a 5-star when it's all said and done when he graduates high school. So keep an eye out on him, and we'll start talking about him when we do our weekly Future Buckeyes segment, and we'll update you on how he's doing. Another guy, 2025 tight end, Eli Owens. He's a 6'3", 220-pound tight end from Alcoa High School in Tennessee. He camped with the Buckeyes back in June. He said it was a great visit. The atmosphere. Oh, he also visited this past weekend. Sorry. He said it was a great visit. The atmosphere stood out. I've already been around all the coaches and gotten to know them, but finally getting to see the fan environment was really cool. That's why those game day environments are key in recruitment. You know, he was able to get some one-on-one time with Keenan Bailey and Ryan Day this weekend. He also said that I spent a decent amount of time talking to coaches for a game day. I talked to Coach Key a bunch and got to have a brief chat with Coach Day as well. So the Buckeyes want 2 tight ends again in this 2025 class. He's encouraged by how the Buckeyes use their tight ends. Obviously, Cade had a good day. He said, quote, "I definitely noticed. I see all the ways they've used Cade and G, and it's really, really enticing." So good marks for the Buckeyes on that visit. The other tight ends the Buckeyes are looking at is Nate Roberts from Oklahoma. He's currently at the top of the list of tight ends the Buckeyes have on their board. But Owens is not far behind. And then you also have Georgia's Amari Winston. And right now that recruitment is trending away from the Buckeyes. So likely he'll be staying in the South. So we'll see how that one fares. But some tight end updates. Again, Buckeyes taking 2. Let's talk O-linemen that visited over the weekends, Carter Lowe and Avery Gatch. 2 of the most important in the 2025 cycle as far as O-line goes. They were in Ohio Stadium on Saturday. They both returned to see the Buckeyes, and they spent the majority of the visit hanging out with Tavian St. Clair. So some peer-to-peer recruiting there. St. Clair is going to be on campus for every home game, to be sure. They got some time with Ryan Day and Justin Fry, and also Mike Soleni, the GA for Justin Fry. Lowe visited for the Western Kentucky game back on September 16th and is expected back for the Penn State game also. That's going to be a star-studded affair. Avery Gatch has been to Columbus half a dozen times, and his relationship with Ohio State is as good as he has anywhere else. So obviously he's from Michigan, so Michigan is going to be, getting their hooks into him. But the Buckeyes have a strong relationship going, which is awesome. So the Buckeyes are working hard to let both of these guys know that they are important to our 2025 recruiting class. So last guy two guys I want to touch on, a couple DBs here. 2025 cornerback Dwayne Galloway Jr. made the visit this weekend. He's from Marion Franklin High School in Columbus, 4-star. He visited Ohio State for the first time. He has not camped with the Buckeyes. He chose not to back in June. He's listed at 6'2", 175, but does not look that in person. He's probably closer to 5'11", 170, under 170. But he's also a track guy. He runs a 10.4, 100 meters. So yes, sign me up, corners that run a 10.4. We all love that. The other guy we mentioned last week is Florida safety and current Iowa commit Leroy Roker. His visit is wrapping up momentarily here, like he might be just now leaving campus. So we don't have a lot of info from his visit, but he's a 2024 safety, 3-star right now. He's an 8.552 from Bishop Verot in Fort Myers, Florida. He's at 6'1", 170. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be good to get some feedback from him. I'm sure the Buckeyes hit it out of the park. So, but this is a 2024 guy. So things are going to have to move quickly with him. We'll see if he takes other visits, whatever, or if we can get him back on campus again, that'd be ideal. So, yeah, that was this weekend was an official visit for him. So we'll see if we can get him for an unofficial. That will tell you a lot. If he's willing to pay for his own flight from Florida for an unofficial and pay for everything himself, then that's a big deal. So, and judging by Iowa's record so far, might be a good idea to go ahead and decommit from there. And they do recruit the defense very well, though. Safety is the secondary for Iowa. They're not a bunch of slappies. So let's check in on the chat, see what's happening. Oh, it's a quiet Monday. Hey, Billy, long time no see. Yeah, I know. My voice is a little froggy today. He says Lightfoot was all about NIL. Exactly. That's another example. Dylan Stewart. I mean, you can run down every class. You could probably pick out about half the dudes that we lost because of NIL. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they move, if they do move these collectives and the NIL dealings within the athletic department. Jeremiah, what's up, Jeremiah? Good to see you. He says, hey there, Joe. The best thing about being 5-0 is a chance to go 6-0, just like Ohio State would do this Saturday at Purdue. Let's go Buckeyes. Yes, sir. That is correct. I like to call them Purdue. At least not this week. Billy says we need to beat Penn State for recruiting too. Yes, that's yeah. It's a home game. You look like shit if you lose your biggest recruiting weekend at home. And B, obviously, Penn State's going to be in on a couple of these guys too. Yes, Billy, we do need the O-line recruits. I agree 100%. It's going to be a war for Jordan Seaton. He's visiting, I believe, the 11th. August 11th is what I have. Let me double check that. Yes, he's taking his official visit. That's the Michigan State game, 11/11. So hopefully that works out. I think I'm running through this Penn State visitor list coming up in about a week and a half. So let me read this off. This may have changed a little bit. So we've got a couple commits, but then you got all of the South Florida contingent. You got 2024 receiver Chance Robinson, current Miami commit. Brain's a little slow today. Then you got 2024 defensive end Marquise Lightfoot, current Miami commit. Then you got wide receiver JoJo Trader, current Miami commit. But they're all coming along with the ringleader, Jeremiah Smith, current Buckeye commit. So then you also got Tavian St. Clair. He'll be working on them for sure. Then you got another Florida wide receiver, Nashawn Montgomery. He's a 25 guy. Then you got 2025 California linebacker, Noah McHale. 25 Georgia DB, Devin Williams. 25 Maryland DB, Blake Woodby. He was just on campus this week also. Look, we're on a commit watch for Blake Woodby, by the way. And then you got 25 Texas DB, Devin Sanchez. So that's the list right now. I'm sure it's going to change, but Blake Woodby is a definite commit watch coming up here on the 14th. So it's this coming Saturday. I got Woodby. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. He plays for St. Francis Academy there, 5'11", 180, high 4-star at a 9.651. Nationally ranked number 78, number 10 corner in the class, and number 2 player in the state of Maryland. So commit watch next Saturday. I haven't heard how he's doing it or if he's doing it live online or what, but we'll try and carry it here. Back to the chat. Jeremiah says, what time is the Buckeye game on Saturday? It is a high noon. Next 2 weeks are high noons. This week is high noon against Purdue that's on the Peacock, nooner on the cock. And then the following Saturday, the Penn State game is a scarlet out in the shoe at noon. Just announced that today. That's a scarlet out. I wish it was a night game. Would be better for recruiting because a lot of kids are playing ball Friday night. Then they got to hustle either to an airport Friday night after their game or Saturday morning way early to get, especially the 4 guys from South Florida, so hopefully they got time to get on a plane and get up to Columbus for a noon game. That's why I don't understand why we're playing Penn State during the day. Hey, as everybody's trickling in the door, I see our views are getting up there. Can you please hit that like button? I'd greatly appreciate it. It's the big thumb right below me. Below me? I hardly know me. Hey-o. Billy says, I expect we will be doing some heavy portaling this offseason on the O-line. Yes. And D-line. I think probably D-line too. Hello, fucking team. I don't know. I don't know where we wouldn't be portaling, honestly. Receiver, maybe. But it depends how many guys leave, right? Yeah. This weekend, though, we had a ton of guys in. We had like over 30 guys. We had commits, Edric Houston, Mylan Graham, Garrett Stover, Jalen McLean, SWD, Eric Mensa. All those guys visited. I mentioned the safety Leroy Roker, just finishing up his visit now. Dominic Kirks, D lineman from Paynesville. Does not have an offer yet, though, by the way. Current Washington commit. He visited, though. So it looks like Larry Johnson's doing some work there on Dominic Kirks. Maybe Larry likes his tape from this year's high school season. 2025 guys, I mentioned Tavian St. Clair, Blake Woodby, the commit watch, Mark Zachary, corner from Indiana, Dwayne Galloway, I mentioned the corner from Marion Franklin. Then you got Edward Coleman, a wide receiver, Eli Owens, I mentioned, Jeremiah Koger, wide receiver, Kentrell Reinhardt, running back, Avery Gatch, the tackle, Noah Sanders, running back, Michael Scott, I like to call him. I'll be calling him Michael Scott from Dunder Mifflin, wide receiver, Cage Payne, O-lineman. Then you got a bunch of 2026 guys. So it was a huge recruiting weekend, and always good to get a a good W. Well, a W anyway. So I don't know about good, but yeah. Billy, back to your question or your point about heavy portaling. Yeah, I think you're going to lose. I don't know, man. You're going to lose one guard. Depending on how Donovan Jackson finishes this season, you could lose two guards. Simmons will be back. Do they want him back? Josh Fryer, he'll be back. Needs to improve greatly. Carson Hinsman, obviously, he'll be back. Just a second-year guy. So that's the O-line. Do you bring in some depth pieces, maybe to challenge for that left tackle job? You have to open it up, right, to Luke Montgomery, see if he's capable of taking that job from Josh Simmons. It's always a competition. Nobody comes in to a new season, just handed a job unless you're Orlando Pace or something. But then on the D-line, you could easily lose all your starters. Jack, JT, Mike Hall, and Tyleek. Tyleek is having a hell of a year. He is probably flying up those mock draft boards. I haven't seen any personally, but this is what you call a contract year for all those guys. Mike Hall's following suit. He might not be lighting up the stat sheet like Tyleek, and he's not getting quite as many snaps, but Mike Hall's doing well too, staying healthy. And Jack, not lighting up the stat sheet either, but he's doing what's asked of him for the most part. Just the sack numbers, sometimes I think we need to take a step back when we're talking D-line, and we love seeing stats, but the sack numbers are not the only thing here. That coordinated rush that Jim Knowles keeps talking about is rushing the quarterback with a plan, not just going berserker, off script or just, flailing around. You're rushing the quarterback with a reason, maybe you're closing down a throwing lane that the quarterback uses a lot on pass plays, or if it's a run play as a D end, it's your job to set the edge. Or if the play is going away from you, it's your job to get your ass down the line and maybe make the play from behind. We saw JT do that on, was that a third or fourth down? He hawked down the guy. He was on the offense's right side. The play went left, but he followed it down the line of scrimmage. Nobody touched him. He went unblocked and made the play in the backfield for no gain. So, that's playing with a purpose and a coordinated effort, I guess. Billy says that Mike Hall might be too undersized for the NFL. Maybe, but how much does Aaron Donald weigh? He's not over 300 pounds, is he? Let's see what Mike Hall is, just for comparison's sake. Mike Hall Jr. Man says 6'2", 280. Aaron Donald. I got 284. He is also 6'1". ESPN says 6'1", 280. So, yeah, he can play in the NFL. Got quick first step, man. If you can get a pass rush from up the gut, that is a nightmare for a quarterback. Edge rushers are great, I know it, and they create havoc. The Bosa's, Chase Young, all those. But if you get pressure like Aaron Donald up the gut in a quarterback's face, you can affect the game so much quicker and so much more on every play. It's just, can you stand up against the run? And he does that. So it's done that for quite a long time. Yeah, I understand your point, Billy. I'm not saying he is Aaron Donald. I'm just saying from a size point of view, the mold is 6'2", 280-ish, I'm not trying to say that Mike Hall is Aaron Donald in any way. Although they call him last year, they called him the baby Aaron Donald, early in the season when he was blowing up Notre Dame in the first week and stuff. Seemed like I remember somebody on the team calling him Baby Aaron Donald. Went to the dentist today just for a cleaning, changing dentists again. My wife is a little picky, I might say. So it's in there. My dentist graduated from Ohio State 2004, so happy about that. He was showing me all of his Ohio State stuff from his office. He's got like framed game ticket from national championship game and stuff. So he's a good guy. Hopefully he's subscribed and watching now. Nice office, Doc. Appreciate you. Took good care of me. But you always have that like weird, your tongue is like looking for stuff in your teeth, you know, like you can feel where they chopped off a bunch of plaque. Feels weird. Anyways, nobody cares. Billy says it's funny listening to fans implode on their sites. Could you be more specific, Billy? I would like to join in the fun. Could it be Miami? Could it be Notre Dame? Could it be Texas? I'm just spitballing here. Yeah, we got 4 likes. Rolling in here. All right, we're getting some views here. We're up to 30. 4 likes. I would like more than that. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Billy. I couldn't see it. That little heart thing in the chat was covering it up. Was covering up the ND. My bad. Or actually, YouTube's bad. I'm gonna start blaming YouTube for everything that goes wrong. Yeah, Notre Dame fans probably not too happy with Marcus Freeman about now. Tyrone last night was saying that their fans are about done with him. I just think the guy should have got a head coaching job somewhere else other than a top 10 school in the country, you know, as his first job. Seems a little too soon, but maybe he can learn lessons like Ryan Day. I mean, it's a similar situation, I guess you could say, kind of, but Ryan Day has a ton more experience. Sorry, Billy, fuck that little hard thing. But yeah, Ryan Day has quite a bit more experience. He's got to be at least 6 or 8 years older than Marcus Freeman. He's coached in the NFL for years. I realize he's never been a head coach either, but at least he has a lot more assistant coaching experience. Like I said last night, Marcus Freeman didn't even call the defenses when he was at Cincinnati. That was Luke Fickell's defense. He was calling the defenses, calling the plays. Now, at Notre Dame, yes, Marcus was calling the defenses there, obviously. But I still don't think, a year or 2 of calling defenses under Brian Kelly makes you qualified to slide right up a chair and into the head coaching spot. I don't buy it, man. I'm not seeing it. And we're seeing these gaffes, like major league gaffes at the wrong possible time, like the Ohio State game. How do you have just 10 dudes on the field for 2 plays in a row, not just 1 to end the game, 2? Holy crap. That's like Mario's crystal ball and his game management at the end of the game on Saturday. That is almost as bad as what Mario did for the Canes. I don't know how you let shit like that happen. And if I'm a fan, I'm calling for heads, man. I don't know. And didn't Freeman have another issue, another coaching blunder? First of all, his excuse for the 10 men issue against Ohio State was just fabricated. That wasn't even accurate. You were afraid to get a penalty. The play was being held up because Ohio State substituted. You could have substituted at any point. So whatever his excuse was about getting penalties was bullshit. Billy says Marcus and Mario will be huddling up on in-game calling. Jimbo, too. Yes, Jimbo's another one. Classic Jimbo. These guys can't get out of their own way sometimes. It's comical. Loxley, you could throw Loxley in there. James Franklin. Those guys have notorious, horrible histories of game management. We've seen it firsthand against Franklin, and then we just saw it again Saturday with Loxley, how they mismanaged that first half. And Talia bungled that. I don't know how you have a 6-year quarterback make that kind of mistake. Man, yikes. Hey, we're getting some likes in here. I appreciate it, folks. Thank you very much. How are you guys feeling about this Buckeye team? Have you digested, maybe gone back and rewatched the game a couple times? I know I have. Feel any better or worse about the O-line, linebackers? Somewhat concerning there. We can all admit, right, that this offensive line issue is 100% falling at the feet of Justin Fry, right? I mean, Brian Day has to basically be, up his ass in his office right now, right? Jeremiah says, hey, Joe, that's Oder Lane for you. I see them having several more losses this season. Okay. They could. I don't know what their deal is. 4 turnovers, and they run the ball for like 50 yards even as a team. That's not their recipe for success. But yeah, back to Justin Fry and the Buckeye O-line. Let's see how the season plays out. I'm not chopping heads just yet. It is only game 5, week 6 for everybody. So, hey, please hit the like button, por favor. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm not ready to fire Justin Fry. He's one of the best in the country. He's one of the highest paid too. We're paying him $1 million a year as an O-line coach and run game coordinator or whatever the hell else title they gave him. So, getting paid too much to have this issue. And lack of talent is also a problem on this roster when you look at the offensive line. We really don't have a lot on the bench that aren't freshmen. Trey LaRue, I don't know how he's still on the damn roster. He should have transferred out a couple of years ago. Jacob James, we'll see. Jury's still out. Zen Mahalski, jury's still out. Then you got Tegra. He was in a battle for the 2 deep at right tackle this year. Fitzpatrick, let's see. And then your true freshman, Montgomery, is just going to be in on the Bison package. He's not going to contend for a starting job right now. Josh Padilla, Austin Severeld, and Walker from Connecticut. So if you look at the older guys, though, there's not a lot of quality depth. Vic Cutler's not going to see snaps probably. Enoch Vamahi really hasn't developed. He could be possibly your 6th man in right now if somebody goes down. But probably him or Tegra would be your 6th man. Vamahi at least has quite a bit of experience. So Yeah, I agree with you, Billy. Billy says that Fry sounds so confident in his pressers. Yeah, and that's what he and Ryan Day have said. Well, he hasn't spoken as much as Ryan Day, obviously, but Ryan Day has said, through the first few weeks when we were having those, issues with the O-line, like we can get it cleaned up. We feel that we have the right guys. We just need to, beat it into them what their job is, but he said it's not that they're not lacking the physical qualities they need to get the job done, whatever may be required on a particular play. So they have the ability physically to do the job. Now let's get them doing the job consistently. And, unfortunately, it takes the longest to get an offensive line working together as one unit. I know you guys probably get tired of me saying that, but getting that O-line working together as a cohesive unit takes reps. And I don't know if one fall camp is enough. So you got to bleed it into the season, right? And so we're at game 5, 6 weeks of regular season, plus 4 or 5 weeks of fall camp. So we should start seeing things level up, not take 2 steps back like we saw this weekend. So we need to see a perfect game versus Purdue. All right. Like I mentioned last night, looking at the stats, their defense is nothing special. So how do you really measure yourself without, falling for the fool's gold? Good job. Your O-line kicked the crap out of a shitty D-line. But they do get some sacks. Purdue does well. They average 3 sacks per game. So that's a challenge in pass pro. I would just like to see consistency in pass protection and the run game blocking. We have not had that consistency. It looked like in the Western Kentucky game that we had things ironed out. We saw things improve, over the first 3 weeks. Made a big leap there, and we're like, all right, we're in good shape. Let's go to Notre Dame and kick the shit out of them. Well, some things have cropped back up against Notre Dame now. And then even with the bye week, more garbage O-line play has cropped back up here. And I imagine those O-linemen are getting railroaded this week in practice. And the penalties is another area, not really the O-line. I think they were pretty much penalty free. They might have escaped with no penalties. I'm pretty sure I saw that. Josh Simmons, I know, did not have a penalty, which he usually does. So you had a Mecca, had a holding. X-Man had the motion penalty. Couple penalties on the sideline. One was the big one. Drew Smith says, I think implementing more RPO would help them incredibly. Maybe. I mean, they do run a handful per game, 5, 6, 7, maybe. They don't really go for big yardage or anything like that. So, but I'm willing to try anything. Drew says that would make the linebackers hesitant, which is really where they struggle, is the second level. Yeah, I understand. If you can get the linebackers guessing, that's always good for your offense, for sure. Let your big men get to the second level and flatten some guys. Against Maryland, it looked like the O-line wasn't even trying to get to the second level. It's like they were just satisfied with being at the line of scrimmage. They were not getting downfield. I don't know why. It was very confusing. I've never seen that. Not by a good team anyways. So I think if you want to go back to the basics, right? Billy says the linebackers aren't getting blocked, which is the run game problem. Exactly. So that's why I say my thought is to go back to the basics, the foundation of run blocking, start there, figure out, okay, where's the breakdown? Who's making the mistake and why on each run play, and target the issue. It's a misassignment by who? Is it multiple guys? Because that's a huge problem. And if it's just one guy, that's probably easily fixable. If it's multiple guys, you should be able to fix it. But still, I go back to the foundational issues. What the hell's going on? Why is this happening? And then who's the problem? You're a big problem. No, I just, and pass pro, I mean, is it really that hard? You had Josh Simmons take an inside guy on a blitz. He should have taken the outside guy. He left the other blitzer on the outside to Chip train him. Chip wasn't even close to the guy. Yeah, it's just mental errors. I think it's just mental errors. Did you see Josh Fryer go block Cade Stover, who was engaged with a defender? What are you doing, Fryer? Why would you do that? It was some of this shit, man, was some of the stupidest. Like I said last night, I wanted to cue up the Benny Hill music and play it real fast, you know. Jeez, some of this O-line play has been downright embarrassing. Yeah, and Joel Klatt on the Fox broadcast was calling it out, you know, during the game. He's right, you know. It was terrible. Matter of fact, I might have to go back and rewatch that game here in a minute for a stiff drink. Billy says that mental errors are Fry's fault. Yeah. The thing is, though, I get your point, Billy. I'm not arguing with that. But what if the players are playing, running the play properly in practice, then they get into a game and like piss and shit themselves? What if that's the issue? And they're coming up with these mental errors and missed assignments in the games, but they're not in practice. I know it's really off the wall and doesn't make sense, but I don't know. Maybe the guys, maybe the guys actually aren't in the exact same place in the game as they are in practice, you know, and our O-line doesn't know what to do with themselves. Just saying, throwing it out there. I've seen it happen before. So I don't know. It's just extremely frustrating, man. I could not imagine trying to figure this out as a coach. And that's why they get paid the big bucks, right? Million bones for Justin Fry, Ryan Day, almost 10 mil. Got a nice little bump. Jim Knowles, 2 mil. Jeremiah, that's a good one. Laurel and Hardy. Haven't heard a good Laurel and Hardy joke in a long time. Who's on first? Where should the left tackle go? Yeah, Jeremiah says, are they having Laurel and Hardy coach the O-line? Billy says O-line has stage fright, LOL. I don't know, man. If we do not see perfect O-line play this weekend against Purdue, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned for Penn State coming into town the following week. Might not be so good. Such a great recruiting weekend, eh? Eh? Okay, dear. Have a door night. I have a lot of Canadian and Wisconsin neighbors. Well, Canadian accents around here. And they all just came back from up north. You know, they spend their summers back up, you know, in America's hat. And then they come back here for the winter. So our population like doubled in a week. I always love that. But anyway, nobody cares about your problems. What else you guys want to talk about? Let's see. I like this would-be kid, the corner that's on commit watch. Blake Woodby, also goes by Bobby, from Baltimore, 5'11", 180, high 4-star, top 100 kid. I think that's a Buckeye commit watch for sure. As we get close to that, to next Saturday, I'll see when he's committing and if we can stream it. So keep an eye out for that. Hit that like button, por favor. Hey, look at that. We've got over 50 people on a Monday. It's a good crowd. But only 9 likes? Oh, come on. You guys are better than that. You don't play offensive line at Ohio State. You're better than that. You guys are 5 stars in my heart. What else? What else is happening? You want to give me your who's your MVP from this Maryland game? One MVP. Just one. Mine, I'm going to go with Kyle. You know, he got started like shit. The entire O-line, the entire offense looked like crap. But he pulled it out of the fire in the second half, got some rhythm. He finished the game really strong. He had like 7 completions in a row towards the end of the game. Then he threw an incompletion to Ballard, I think. So, but yeah, Kyle's my MVP. He's got to show consistency too. Billy says his MVP is Josh Proctor. I like that. Proc has really turned his game around, man. Not just the big pick 6, but every week this year he's doing his job. He does still go for the home run hits sometimes, but he more times than not he's doing his job. He had that big play down by the goal line where they ran the quarterback keeper to the left, and he strung it out along with Igbinosun was in there. Sawyer was trailing a little bit, but Proctor strung that thing out and they stopped him, before the goal line in a big play. So that was huge. I think that obviously they held him. Was that a field goal? I think that they kicked. I think it was, but yeah, I have no complaints about Josh Proctor this year. Good to see it's all finally coming together for him, and just keep it up, keep that consistency going. Lathan Ransom is another guy. That guy's making some money. He's definitely entering the draft this year. He's doing really well. Got the pick, went up and got that thing. He's been doing well tackling. He doesn't have as many missed tackles as he's had in the past. So getting the job done. And he's not giving up a lot of plays in coverage either. So I'm really happy with Ransom. All the safeties, corners. I mean, that secondary. What's the longest play we've allowed? Is it like 36 yards, I think? Something like that. Still haven't allowed a big touchdown play. So this is a bend but don't break defense. And as much as Jim Knowles and Ryan Day try to say it's not, it is. This is bend but don't break. When you play defense and don't allow big plays, maybe you don't blitz quite as much. That's a bend but don't break defense, my friend. I have no problem with it. I'm good with it. We won championships with that. Classic Luke Fickell defense. No problem with me. It's like things are starting to slow down here in the chat. Will be interesting to see. Oh, hey, did you guys see Elijah rushing? defensive end, just decommitted. Where is he going? He's going to Oregon now. Looks like he's decommitting, and he went to the same high school as Ransom out in Arizona. One second. Yeah, 5-star edge rusher Elijah Rushing has decommitted from Arizona. Why he was committed to Arizona, I don't know. Anyways, so he's looks like he's going to flip to Oregon though. So we'll see. Definitely an NIL thing. Just wanted to point that one out. We were never really in it for him, even during his recruitment. So, oh well. Funny that Jeremiah Smith was on at the Miami game to witness that debacle. When Mario does that shit, do you even stay and talk to him afterwards? I would just go home. I mean, Jeremiah lives like less than an hour away, so I would just go the freak home. That was the worst display of coaching I've ever seen. But, all right, folks, things are cooling down, so I'm going to bounce. I appreciate it if everybody hits the like button on the way out the door. It's that big thumb. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later. Go Bucks.